Hey, everybody. I'm back. This is your citizen scientist, and I want to talk about that word, citizen, and talk about a couple of other words. So, I have been listening to a lot of the talk about don't use the word citizen. That means that you're a slave. However, the context of the word citizen from the United States of America state's constitution clearly refers to the general public. And so I'm going to read a few things directly from states' constitutions, and we're going to talk about a couple of other words in the process. So I just want to put some clarity to the fact that the word citizen, if you're in the United States of America, is not a bad word. The word citizen, if you're in the United States, that 10 square miles in Washington, D.C., known as the District of Columbia, mm-mm, not so good if you want to be a free man or a free woman, I think. So let's take a look at Rhode Island. I'm going to read off the computer here, so I got to look down for this. Um, Rhode Island ratified the U.S. Constitution in May 1970. It was the last state to do so, and the vote was closer than it had been in any other state. 34 delegates in favor of ratification and 32 opposed. Now, the Bill of Rights and the amendment to this Constitution of the United States, as agreed by the Convention of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations of South Kingstown, in the County of Washington on the first Monday of March, AD 1790, Declaration of Rights. Now, I just read United States and not United States of America. Let's keep in mind that in 1790, we didn't have a foreign entity, uh, the United States. We were the United States of America. So the United States or United States of America was synonymous at that time. They meant the same thing. Uh, Number one, that there are certain natural rights of which men, when they form a social compact, cannot deprive or divest their posterity, among which are the enjoyment of life and liberty with the means of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Compact means contract. Posterity means children. That that statement there says that our rights cannot be contracted away. That our rights fall to our posterity, to our children. Okay, number two. Move the screen up here. Number two, that all power is naturally vested in and consequently derived from the people. That magistrates, therefore, are their trustees and agents, and at all times amenable to them. I lost my. Okay. Now, number three, the powers of government may be resumed by the people whenever it shall become necessary to their happiness. Whoa. When it becomes necessary to their happiness. That's it. I'm going to read that again because these are words from the forefathers. Excuse me. That all that the powers of government may be reassumed by the people whenever it shall become necessary to their happiness. The rights of the states respectively to nominate and appoint all state officers and every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by the said Constitution clearly delegated to Congress of the United States or to the departments of government, therefore, remain to the people of several states or their respective state government to whom they may have granted the same, and that those clauses in said Constitution which declare that Congress shall not have or exercise certain powers do not imply that Congress is entitled to any powers not given by the said Constitution, but such clauses are to be construed either as exceptions to certain specific powers or as inserted merely for greater caution. The government is supposed to be taking care of us. That's their job. They are our servants and trustees. Virginia, Article 1, Bill of Rights. The Declaration of Rights made by the good people of Virginia in this exercise of their sovereign powers, which rights do pertain to them and their posterity as the basis and foundation of government. Section 1, Equality and Rights of Men, that all men by nature equally free and independent have certain inherent rights of which, when they enter into the state of society, they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity, namely, the enjoyment of life and liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Now, that word liberty, that is a powerful word. Liberty, that means you don't have to ask, you don't need permission, you have liberty. You have liberty to travel. You have liberty to get into your conveyance and travel with a guest. That's a little different than operating a motor vehicle and having passengers and conducting commerce or trafficking in commerce where you have passengers and fees. Now, there's a big difference. Section 2, people, the source of power. That all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amenable to them. At all times. What a mess we got. Number 3, government instituted for the common benefit. And towards the end of this, we're going to get to another word, weal, W-E-A-L. So I looked that one up because I wanted to know. The government is, or ought to be, instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, or community. So this is state constitution, talking about security of the people, nation, or community. You see, these laws, these common law rights, they're across the common land. All states' constitutions are ratified into the federal constitution. Every right that's written down in the Declarations of Rights and Bills of Rights are across the common land. They don't end at a state line. So, where did I step? So, for the nation or community, of all the various modes and forms of government, that is best which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety. The greatest degree of happiness and safety. I don't think we're living in those times. I don't think we have the greatest happiness and safety. All right, it goes on. And is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. Just the danger of not maladministration, but danger of. Holy fright. And whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community hath an indubitable, inalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public weal. W-E-A-L. definition of weal, there's a few of them. This one is and sound, healthy, or prosperous state, well-being. So that's and sound, comma, healthy, comma, or prosperous state, comma, well-being. Alter or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public weal. All right. When I hear common law is not written down, it kind of infuriates me a little bit because our states' constitutions are all common law written down. All right, let's take a look at Virginia here. Section 12, freedom of speech and of the press, right peaceably to assemble and to petition. That the freedom of speech and of the press are among the great bulwarks of liberty and can never be restrained except by despotic governments. What's the definition of despotic? Having unlimited power over the people and often using it unfairly and cruelly. All right, so then this goes on. That any citizen may speak freely, write, and publish his sentiments on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of that right. In other words, you say something stupid, you might be ridiculed for it, but you got the right to speak freely. And we're talking about citizen. Okay? That any citizen may speak freely, write, and publish his sentiment on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of that right. That the General Assembly may not pass any law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, nor the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress and grievances. Now, West Virginia. Requisites to citizenship. Now, let's read this and see. Are they talking about being a slave to the government, or are they talking about a free man and a free woman? Let's read and see. All persons residing in this state, comma, born, comma, or naturalized in the United States, and again, the United States, the corporation didn't exist back then, so they're talking about the United States of America. I'll start over because it's short. All persons residing in a state, born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, shall be citizens of this state. All right. Equal representation. Again, this is West Virginia. Every citizen shall be entitled to equal representation in the government and in all appointments of representation, equally of numbers to those entitled thereto, shall as far as practical be preserved. Every citizen shall be entitled to equal representation in the government. Citizens being representative by their legislators. A citizen is a free man and a free woman when we use common law language, not bastardized legal language. We're talking lawful language. All right? All right. This is a good one. Fighting of duels prohibited. And again, this should give a little bit of clarification here. Any citizen of this state who shall, after the adoption of this Constitution, either in or out of the state, fight a duel with deadly weapons, or send or accept a challenge so to do, or who shall act as a second or knowingly aid or assist in such duel, shall ever thereafter be incapable of holding any office of honor, trust, or profit in this state. So, you see, citizen is used over and over and over in the state's constitutions. And there was no bar association. We didn't have a corporation 10 square miles, the United States. We were the United States of America. So words have been bastardized. I also hear people saying, don't say you're a person, because person means you're a government slave. Personnel. Well, I will say that there is statutes, acts, rules, and regulations. They talk about persons. They're talking about personnel. That's their world. That's the legal world. In the lawful world, person is used many, many times. And I think that'll be the next short video I do. We'll talk about persons and how our forefathers used the word persons in the state's constitutions. And we'll see if we can't get some resolution to that. So thanks for tuning in. I hope this helps. Peace out.